Everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Get Wealth Podcast. Today I have here Rodrigo from Wholesale Sharks. Super pumped about this one. A huge wholesale and real estate investor in the Arizona market and others as well. I'm sure we'll get into it. You know, very, very knowledgeable, a lot to learn. So I'm just excited to kind of pick your brain and see where this goes. Thanks for coming on the show, man.
I'll definitely appreciate it, man. At the end of the day, it's you have to give back, and these conversations are the ones that actually help you get better. And my whole thought is about if you can have more conversations throughout the week with different types of people, you start getting a clearer picture of you start getting a bigger picture of what's possible. You know, one person might tell you one thing, and then you start connecting the dots, and then like how you said, I think we just spoke about how you started interviewing people, and then it led you to wholesaling. So I'm a fairly big believer on giving back.
Yeah, that's really, like, you hit the nail on the head there. It's every week I get this readjustment in my perspective of like, okay, this is what people are doing and this is where they started. It's just time to go out there and get after it. So, I'm sure this is going to be another one of those episodes. How about you just dive into kind of your origin story and a little bit about what you're doing now?
I mean, for my origin story is fairly simple. I mean, I went to college. I'll get a degree. I went to get a architecture degree, graduated, worked in architecture designing for 5 years. Good pay, working for Intel. So I kind of had it set up. I had a good setup. I would get moved up in position, a raise every year. I was actually very good at it. I loved what I did. Then it became a thing where I didn't love what I did. And the reason that happened was because my brother, actually, I was going through some breakups and nobody really knew what was going on with me, but I was a little bit depressed. And it was that one day at the gym, my brother was like, dude, what are you going to do for your birthday? I'm like, nothing, something small. He's like, let's go to China. I don't know, just like that, just turned sideways. I don't know. I told him, nah, you're crazy, man. But at that moment, I was actually a little bit depressed and stuff. So I said, fuck it, let's go. And then he's like, you better not back out. I usually back out. I'm very stable. I don't like to do so many things, rock the boat. So I said yes that moment. He said, don't back out. He got the tickets right that second because usually I say no to everything. So next day I'm trying to back out. He said, dude, we already paid for the tickets. We have the rooms. I paid him that moment. I'm like, fuck. Okay, so my birthday 2 months later came around. We went to China. I was in China, man. I was like, whoa, man. I barely like drive to like Prescott or like I don't even go to Mexico. I'm from Mexico. I wasn't going anywhere. I was just staying here in Phoenix. So me going that far was something that actually, you could say, it traumatized me a little bit because I thought the whole world was just here. So me seeing so much wealth, I would see all these. I saw the the Great Wall. So what happened was, seeing something huge like that, that's what it took for me to get out of my comfort zone, which I had my perfect job, paying good, getting raises. I came back to my normal 9 to 5, little cubicle, and then I'm just sitting there awkwardly, just looking at the clock. I'm like, fuck, it's like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. I'm counting the hours. I started counting like 1 hour left. And then I just fell into this thing where like, is this it? Like, when do I get to travel? Do I get to go back? I was just thinking of the trip. I was on the hype, and then the hype never left. I was like, I need to travel, and then they would only give me 2 weeks. I'm like, 2 weeks? I can't live off of that. So after a while, talking with my brother, he suggested he had a friend that does real estate, like a realtor. So he said, hey, let's both get our licenses just for fun. If we can do some extra money, start traveling with that, cool. So we had a plan. We both hanged up the phone and said, we're gonna go sign up right now. So I'm a man of action. I went online, signed up, $500. Okay, I'm on my way to become a realtor. Call him back, and he's like, you know what? I can't do it now because I have my job. I'm like, God damn it, you just backed out on me. But I was already enrolled. So that was my beginning of, learning real estate, getting the traditional license. Luckily, I hanged around a lot of people that did a lot of deals. So once you hang around a lot of those people, they'll give you some info here and there. You'll start helping them with small items, and if you're sharp enough or you want to be sharp enough, you start looking out for opportunities. So it just started going faster and faster and faster. But what helped me was just focusing 100%, doubling down on everything that I did. Basically, everything that I made was investing back into the business. And right now, what we're doing 100%. I mean, 90% wholesale. I say 90 because 10% is whatever we buy and list, we'll list it ourselves, and that's part of the traditional real estate that we do right now.
Wow. So when did you transition from just listing properties on the market to wholesaling or investing, or was that always the case, was wholesaling?
I didn't know what wholesaling was. What happened is that I got my license. I wanted my brother to join. That was the biggest thing. He's Ramon. He's the one that created the Wholesale Sharks. He does the events and all that stuff. So I wanted him on my team because you want people you want to hang out with, people that are reliable, or friends, or people that that, hey, if we work together, we might kill it. And that was the original plan. He's like, hey, get into real estate, we'll do it together, blah, blah, blah. So I made a promise to myself. I told him, look, he told me, actually, dude, if you can make $100,000 a year doing traditional real estate, I'll quit my job, which his job was paying more. It's like, I'll quit my job and I'll join you. So I busted my ass like really bad to make $100,000 a year as a realtor. And on my third year, I was able to make 100,000. And I called him up, hey man, check out my fucking W-9 here. He's like, dude, I got a raise. Like, he was making 130 now. I was like, you're never gonna leave. And we kept buzzing our balls. But the crazy part is that eventually he had an issue with the company, and he got fired. So what happened is, like, he came back. He's like, oh geez, what am I gonna do? I need to support my family. I told him, dude, get your license. He was trying to get his license slowly, but like it would say no. So this was the perfect timing for me. I'm like, dude, okay. He's like, I'm gonna get my license. So on his side of the story is that that's where we came together a little bit. He started selling like these dogs. Let me drink some water. Let me see. So he started selling some dogs, and I told him, dude, are you gonna get your realtor license? He's like, dude, I just sold 3 dogs in one weekend. That was about, I think it was making like $800 per puppy. That was about almost $2,000 in 1 week. And then I was like, God damn it, you're never gonna become a realtor. So what happened? He couldn't keep that shit up. So eventually he got his license. He saw that wasn't for him. He doesn't like doing listings. He doesn't like showing around buyers. He stumbled into one wholesale deal, and then it was over. He said, dude, I like wholesaling. I'm like, what the fuck's wholesaling? So you get a property, I'll sign it over for more, and you just do that over and over and over and over. My mind, being a traditional realtor, and I was making okay money, said, no, I think that's shady, but I don't know how to do it. And then eventually what happened is I told him, look, once you start making some real money, like, let me know. It's like the tables had turned. So it was funny. It was I think it was February. It was the end of week of February. For that year, I think it was 2019. Yeah, 2019. He came over to my office. We had to rent a small little office space. And then he came over and said, dude, you got to come over right now. And I said, no, well, I'll be over there in a little bit. I'm doing some paperwork. He's like, get over here right now. I'm going to make you quit your realtor job right now. Cancel your license right now. You got to see this. I'm like, what the hell? This guy's crazy. So I went to his office. He's like, look at my Excel sheet. He was doing so many crazy things during the month. I didn't know what he was doing. He's running around back here, talking to people on the phone. So he made $100,000 in 1 month. So I was impressed. I was like, dude, you just made 100,000. He's like, they're all closing this week. I was like, wow, what did you do? Because he wasn't really making money in wholesale. He's trying to learn it. So he accumulated one deal as $25,000. Another was 15, and it was enough where it was 100,000, over 100,000. He's like, I just made $100,000 in 1 month. I was like, God damn, I make 100,000 in 1 year. Crossing my ass and showing clients and showing. I was like, I guess I gotta become a wholesaler now. So my whole idea is like, you have to brainwash yourself. I wasn't a realtor when I started, but eventually I made myself believe it. I wasn't a wholesaler when I started. I needed to brainwash myself, and that transition was very hard because I was a realtor. I was 100% fiduciary, protect the buyer, all these laws and rules. So I had to tell myself, hey, you're gonna become the person. So for a lot of people, I think they have to willingly know that they have to become the person. And after that, I mean, it's just history. We've been going crazy with it. We've been doing big numbers here and there. We did the virtual stuff, and it's been blessings all since then.
Yeah, I mean, you guys are some of the biggest players in Arizona now, and it's cool to kind of sit back and hear you talk about that and watch what you've done now. It's incredible. So what is your business looking like now? Are you just kind of in the trenches, cold calling still? Because I imagine from where you started out to what it's evolved to, your role in that business has kind of changed.
I never liked to cold call, and I'll never cold call. I just don't like it.
Yeah.
My business has always been some kind of referral or some warm lead. I just hate cold calling. I hate the fact of feeling uncomfortable. So I don't know you. Hey, what do you want? And I'll feel bad, and that's just not my style. The crazy part is that it's a necessary evil. So we have cold callers. So that took care of that. Cold callers. They're from Panama, $4 an hour. They're just calling all day. We have about 2 million plus contacts, which is phone numbers they get to call. But with that said, we have one guy that's just making all the warm calls from those cold callers. They make the initial annoying call. Hey, you don't want anything cool? You do? Okay, let me have my guy call you. But with that, we established a big net. So I tell a lot of people, if you buy 1,000 contacts, like some guy could just call all day. Okay, you don't want anything, you'll burn through them. But if you buy 100,000, it's gonna be an expense, but at the end you'll have 100,000 contacts in your pipeline to call contacts. So the crazy part with these contacts, my brother initially he put on the credit card. That credit card was so maxed out. He was like $100,000 in debt with that credit card. He was like putting so much money on it, and he had to pay back, do payments. Luckily, he had good credit because they're giving him that much money to spend on the company. But at the end of the day, he was trying to get a big net. He knew if I only did a little bit, you wouldn't get massive results. It's like with anything. So that kind of helped us out, doubling, tripling down on everything that we did. But our business right now is more of we help people sell deals that they can't sell. Usually what happens if you lock up a deal, let's say in Prescott, and you say, hey, man, I locked up this deal. I've offered everywhere. Nobody's buying it. You want to make some money. You work hard for those leads. You cold called. You finally got somebody signed on the dotted line. So sometimes we find other buyers to help you, purchase that property. That's been a big side of our business. But we have a lot of end buyers, which we work with. We work with lenders, and we're able to provide that service as well alongside with wholesaling.
That's awesome. That's a kind of a good transition. I wanted to ask you about a deal I'm working on right now. It's kind of an interesting scenario. And since you guys are the Dispo Sharks, maybe you could kind of talk through how you would go about handling it, and maybe I could send it to you. But so the situation is it's a pre-foreclosure. The trustee sale is on the 22nd of this month. I called just a cold call. I got in touch with them. They told me that, whatever the reason was, they weren't making their payments and they're getting foreclosed on now. And they were just going to let it go and they were going to go on their way after it sold. So I came in and, gave them the whole spiel about there's other options working with investors and that, basically said we'd run the numbers and see if we could figure it out. Got in touch with the lender. So there's actually two mortgages. One of them is the first position. It's got like 190 left and they have 35,000. This is going to cost like 35K to reinstate it. And they have a second position that they have on it that they use as a down payment in 2013, and they haven't paid a single dollar on it, and it's at 12%. And right now they owe 90K on that one. So they kind of got themselves in a pickle. And
what's it worth?
It's worth 360 on the lower end. You could probably 370 more realistically. It's probably, worth 370. So the buyout would be like 325 altogether. And there's another weird thing. So only the first position foreclosed. The second position has just not said a word for the last however many years, like 10 years or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what their thing is, if they would even ever notice, but the first position for closed on, and that's what needs 35K. Do you think it's a deal at 325? It doesn't need a lot of repairs.
The thing is, 325 is worth like 370, you say?
Yeah.
So 325. So it has about what, 45,000 in there, 50. You would say like $50,000 in there, like.
Yeah.
But the thing is that it's not fixed up yet.
Right.
So
it's not after repair value yet. It's like rent ready. There's pictures. It's just looks like a normal.
Yeah, it's like a very thin deal, and the thing is that with $50,000, once let's say you do buy it with a hard money loan, it'll just eat it up with most of your monthlies. On a $350,000 or $320,000 loan, 10% down, if you could get that, you're still looking at, I don't know, $5,000 a month ish, the interest and all that. So 3 months, it already takes away $15,000, and if you only have 50 in there to play with, that takes away a third of it. You remodel it with 20,000, and if you choose to sell it, I mean, even if you're a realtor in Prescott, you still have to pay the realtor that comes here with the deal. So, and then you have to pay closing costs when you sell. So you're very thin. So it doesn't really make sense closing on it. It would make sense if you wholesale it out, but there had to be a person that's ready to go. That would be the only way. Just wholesaling, I guess, and try to make 10,000 on it. But you would have to find a buyer ASAP before it gets foreclosed. And the thing is that if it's going to auction, it might take longer because of the payoffs. If it's next week, the payoffs usually take a while. If they have any child support, that takes forever. HOAs, any liens, like that second position, like it won't even let you close on it because if they don't know who they are, they can't find them. It's going to take forever for them to get a payoff. And by that time, it's already next week.
We were just going to do like a warranty deed or no, a contract for deed and not go through a title company, just do like title insurance to make sure that was actually the case to save some of that time. But I mean, I kind of came to the same conclusion. There's not a lot of room on it, and it'd have to be a really specific buyer to want to buy that.
Yeah, like for us, we just closed on one that was similar situation. They're going to auction, and we actually called the bank and let them know, hey, we just need a couple days. We just need a couple days. We have the money, blah, blah. They still said, no, this guy hasn't paid in 2 years. So what happened there, we had to stop the auction. We did a bankruptcy on it, and that stopped the auction. But we had to go to the steps of the court. We presented the paperwork. It was a huge mess that we had to go through, but it stopped the auction. We were able to close in 2 weeks, and then that got the guy out of the situation. And right now we own the home, so we gave him a month to move out. So he's going to move out in a month, but it had enough juice in there for us to purchase the property. So what happens when you purchase a property? A lot of people don't remember that is you're going to pay taxes. Like you made 50,000. No, but I invested it so much on repairs, blah blah. Okay, receipts. So at the end of it, was it really worth it? All that tax issue to show and prove to the IRS that you didn't make money. And so if you already know you're not going to make money, you got to think like to the end. I'm already thinking the end. Okay, IRS, did you make money on this? No. Well, why would you even start? Like you're going back to the past now. So it's like chess. Do all your moves. Okay, let's say you do buy it. What happens next? Okay, well, I'm going to have to fix it. Okay, can you drive all the way up north? That'd be time consuming. Do you have somebody to fix it? What are the risks? Is it vacant? Are they going to need a couple of months? How many monthlies are you going to waste on that? What's the closing cost? And then you reverse engineer all your moves again. And then you're like, shit, this is the worst deal or this is the best deal. So I try to do all like the reverse engineering. Where do I want to be at? On what side? And I'll see if that's a correct move on everything that I do. And I think that's actually helped us. And also asking other people, other friends that know how to comp or are very good.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, man. So you guys are getting all these hot leads. Do you keep any of them for yourself, or is it just all disposition, wholesale?
Well, the thing is that we don't really get that many hot leads. And The reason being is we're in a market where everyone pays over asking. It's like this whole year has been saturated where prices, houses are going up, houses are going up. You know, sellers the sellers know what's going on. They see Zillow, they see what, they talk to their neighbor, they talk to their cousin. Everybody has a realtor friend. They have a son that's fairly knowledgeable. You know, if they're giving away the property, it's because some big emergency. But usually, all the ones that we get are people that are right around what it's worth. So all we need is just enough spread for us to put in our $10,000 fee and then sell it to somebody else that wants to live there. So if we want to sell it to an investor and they see there's only 50K in there, they're gonna say, hey, closing costs is gonna be about $12,000 to $15,000, and then 30 to fix it. It's like, that's, my money's gone. How about the monthlies? How about the back end when I sell it? Like, there's no money. They need at least 100,000 spread for it to be somewhat enjoyable to hold for 3 or 4 months while they sell it. But for us, it's more of finding a traditional buyer that wants to live in the house, and wants to get some kind of discount. So we're not really selling to, yeah, we're not selling to investors, because what's going to happen if I sell a house to you and you don't make any money and you lose money on, you know, we just get a bad rep, and then now you're like, fuck, they sold me something that didn't have money. Like, this thing wasn't even worth that ARV that they wrote in there. So we don't give ARVs, and we usually look for end buyers. Let's say you want to live in a certain neighborhood. You're like, hey, I want to live in this neighborhood. It's very nice. I like the schools, but you have an FHA loan, so that means that you're gonna struggle. Everybody else has conventional or cash. You're gonna get outbid. So if you contact someone like me, I'm gonna say, hey, you can buy an off-market property for 10 to 20%. So you say, okay, well, I have 10% down. Cool. Oh, are you already approved with your FHA? Yes. Okay, so this is what I'll do. I'll say the property with a hard money loan. You only have $30,000 equity, which you don't really care. You just want to live in the neighborhood, and it's probably basic. Plus, you're getting a discount. So you're like, I would like the discount. And then once you buy it, your lender will just refinance you out of that hard money loan, and then you just keep the house. So you're getting a deal. I mean, at the end of the day, you're going around that whole, oh, I need to find it with a realtor on the MLS. Well, I mean, if you have 20% down, they will remove your mortgage insurance. You know, even better if you have 20% down. But if you don't, you can get a 10% down, and that'll help you get a lower monthly. And then I'm actually promoting this to the end user, not the other investor, not the buy and hold guy. I'll definitely on my side, I'll be able to make a little bit more if I'm selling it to the end user, not anyone in the middle.
Yeah, that's not as typical for a wholesale business, right? Everyone talks about getting your cash buyers list and working with all the other flippers in the area and see what their buy criteria is. Whereas you're kind of just skipping that step and going to the people that they're selling it to, but you're giving it to them. So how are you, like, can you download a end buyer list on PropStream, or how does that work?
Well, I mean, the way this works is just the old-fashioned way, man. Like, you speak with the realtor and a lender. That dumbed down, right? So a lot of people think they can create some kind of platform where things, and then just at the end of it, you have to have a guy that's able to speak with these realtors that have 5 people that are qualified. So we work with a lot of realtors that they inform their buyers. Let's say you're working with the realtor right now. You're working with the realtor, they show you houses, and then let's say you're a handyman, you like to, you know, paint houses, you do that on your own. You're like, hey, my dad taught me how to do all this stuff. I can fix my own house. You know, I don't need all this stuff. And then your realtor tells you, look, I have this other option. We haven't been able to find a house for you in the neighborhood that you want because everything's so expensive. Have you looked into a fixer-upper? And you might say, well, not really, but I mean, I can fix most of the stuff if it's cheaper. Well, this house is $500,000, the one that you want. I found another one in the neighborhood for $450,000. But of course, if it was on the MLS, you wouldn't be able to get it because everyone is going to fight for it, and then they'll beat you to it like every time. This way, you can buy it off market. It's basic looking. It might need paint and carpet. Can you install paint and carpet? Oh, my buddy does carpet. Cool. You get a discount. You'll probably spend 10 grand on fixing it the way you want to. The wife probably wants different colors. But would you prefer that option? Oh, yes, I would. Like me personally, I would prefer that option. I like painting. I like fixing stuff. I want to change the restrooms so they look different. And that's actually very attractive for a lot of buyers. But to be honest, no one really gets that option. A realtor will never give you that option because they don't know about wholesaling, and wholesale is usually something that people are afraid of. They don't understand it. But once they start getting informed, then they make a lot of money, and they help the buyer out. Like they'll help you if you're that type of guy that, look, I'm gonna go in here anyways and take out that ugly ass carpet and put the flooring myself. There's a lot of people buy these new houses with carpet. You're already thinking, knock down this wall, change the carpet, paint these rooms differently. So I'm like, okay, so you should have just bought a fixer upper. You know, you would have saved 50 up top. When 50,000 equity is, it wouldn't be anything for a fix and flip guy. Like he would say, oh shit, I need 100.
Right. Wow, that's so interesting. So when did you guys adopt that strategy? Was it earlier on after you realized that it's too hot of a market?
No, to be honest, it happens all the time. Like in my market here, Phoenix, Arizona, there's so many people that want to buy property that are Hispanics, right? Let's say they're Hispanics. For example, they don't have a social, right? How many people in Arizona in Phoenix don't have a social? They're like 2 million undocumented people, right? So my view is that there are a lot of people who wanted to buy, and the only way they can buy is with the Harmony loan. They can't get qualified for anything because you need a social, right? So that's when my mindset changed. Okay, my lender would call, hey, I denied another guy because he doesn't have a social, so I can't help him out. So I told him, well, I mean, if he could buy a house with the Harmony loan, then that'll work, right? Oh yeah, if he has a Harmony loan, you can show him those houses, any of those houses on the MLS, and he'll buy with a Harmony loan and do his thing. So in my mind, I was thinking, well, how about a guy that has FHA that wants one of these fixer-uppers? Oh yeah, well he could, and then I'll refinance him out. I'm like, okay, well this applies for anybody. You know, it's very simple. But yeah, we managed to help a lot of people that actually want a fixer-upper by just giving them that option. You have to give them another option, not just go retail. I mean, why? Can I get something cheaper? You know, market just went up $100,000 in the last year. It's like it's getting very expensive. So for the average Joe, it's very good to give them that option.
Yeah. Where do you think the market's going? Is it gonna just to the moon for the next 10 years, or are we gonna see it?
It has to keep going. I mean, it has to keep going. It's like the honeymoon stage. When Trump came in, honeymoon stage, hey, everything's great, let's go. Everything's going up. Trump went out, and now Biden's in. So what happens? They get this power to spend so much money. It's like every time a new president comes in, they have unlimited, hey, $1 billion this way, $1 billion that way. So it happened with Trump, push it. And then he left. So the next guy, okay, now they have that button. They could just, it's honeymoon stage for these 4 years. Well, he's been, I think it's 2 more years. So he's still good. I don't know what's going to happen afterwards, but he's still pretty good. You see so many hedge funds that keep buying like crazy. You have to look at the market. We're right next to California. For us, is very great because they have so much money. Like they sell their one house that's small and tiny, and they come and buy their house is worth $1 million. They come and buy like a 4,000 square foot house, mansion looking thing, you know, it's for the fraction of the price. Yeah. So we're very fortunate of that. The guys that have the money want to be close to California because they don't want to go too far, but they know that it's a lot cheaper here.
So where are you guys wholesaling then? Is it primarily Arizona, Phoenix?
We're here primarily in Arizona, all of Arizona. Before we're doing virtual, we're doing Alabama, Texas, heavily in Texas. We're doing Las Vegas, California. COVID hit and we just stopped all the other markets and just concentrated in Phoenix. Phoenix was giving us the bigger deals. We're doing pretty well when COVID hit. Is a lot of business. And right now we've opened up like 2 other markets. We're doing Tucson very well now. And Florida is treating us pretty well. But it depends on how much work you want to do. I mean, right now we're not really trying to scale up. The scale up means more people have to hire. And at the end is like, how much do you value your time? You know, like, okay, cool. How many flips do you really need? Like a guy told me, hey, we have 10 flips going, and we buy 10 flips a month, blah, blah, blah. I told him 10 flips, god damn. It's like, do you have enough workers for that? Like, yeah, we have a lot of workers. I manage all the flips, and we're buying. Like, how many do you want? I told him, just humoring him. He's like, we could get another 10, man. I told him, why would you want another 10? It's like, at what point do you go nuts and your brain explodes? I mean, how can you handle 10? Like, we can barely handle 3 at a time. It's like, how many people can you manage? Like, do you guys have like 100 people working on all this stuff? But I think a lot of people don't really care about their time. Hey, do you have any family you got to attend to? Is that 100 flips a month? Is that the point where your brain explodes? But a lot of people, they just want to keep making it. More money, but their time, they get sick. I've seen a lot of people that get sick, they get diabetes, they get stressed, they go nuts and explode. Sorry, friends, that's happened just because of the whole do more. They see things on social media, but you just have to write down your goals. Like, what's success for you? Is $100,000 success, $200,000 success, and then write down, okay, what will this give me every year? Okay, it's gonna give me the car that I want every year, the house payment that I want every year, the vacations that I want. Because a lot of people are shooting for $1 million a year, but in reality, when $300,000 would have given them that and a little bit more, what they actually wanted. It all depends that, and that's what we're fair believers. We travel a lot. We're family oriented, so we do this because we enjoy it, and we like to teach other people what we do. Just give them that gift.
Yeah, that's great. It's definitely working for you guys. So is there any sort of a long-term, no, that's not the right way to say it, but like, for example, where do you guys see this going? Are you planning on hiring more or just keeping it where it's at? Do you feel like hiring more people is the next thing, or doing more yourself? What do you think?
Right now we're in the stage where we love what we do. It happens where if you can get comfortable enough, or you do enough business where you have enough revenue coming in, that you can actually choose what to do. Before it was very tough because we barely had enough to pay the bills, and we're just going so crazy with that. But our next shift is going to be basically owning some of the properties, passive income. We're talking a lot of the guys where they buy the properties like Ohio, right? Ohio is a hot market to get that passive income. You buy a property for 50,000, rent it out for 12 to 1,600 bucks. You want a full remodel, you buy it at 100,000. Instead of buying one house here for 400,000, you buy a shitload of houses over there with that same 400,000. So passive income is probably gonna be the next thing for us. Right now, it's just keep going, don't look back, don't look sideways, and just do the business.
Yeah, I like that. People, like you were saying, like, you get sidetracked and doing all these different things when really it would be just as beneficial if you double down on the one thing that works, and then once you get to a point, you can kind of go to the next step, like you guys are saying. So have you guys done flips yourself then, or you?
Yeah, we usually do 2 a month.
Oh,
We're
2 a
fairly
month. Okay.
comfortable, and they're staggered. They're staggered. So our dad is the one that handles the cruise, and they do some of the work. My mom's always with them, helping them with the Home Depot stuff, carrying the little cart there. So we do that because they always used to work in construction, but someone else, paid them low wages, but they used to do all the work. And the crew that we have is the same guys that they used to work with for some other guy. And right now we pay them very well. They stay entertained. So in reality, we're just doing it so they have something to do. Right now they're in their late 50s. They're like hitting 60. So no one's at home. They go through all these emotions. So in our mind, it's like, hey, we keep them working with us. Very exciting. They keep them motivated. It's not so tough of a job because there are people helping them, and we just get to give them something where they're useful, right? They're doing their stuff. They keep their mind sharp. So it's a family thing. To be honest, if I could not do flips, I'll probably stop them. But because I don't really think we should be doing flips. It's too much of a hassle for the profit that we get out of it. I prefer to wholesale things out and just make our money and bounce. But we're doing it for them. They love doing the flips. They love going to Home Depot, picking out the colors. And that's for them. They enjoy that, and we'll keep that growing to keep them occupied, to be honest.
That's awesome. So when you guys are doing a flip, are you using your own money, or are you leveraging private capital or hard money?
All we're using now is hard money. A lot of people use the private capital. We'll eventually start promoting that. Hey, private capital, blah, blah. That's amazing if you can get it. But for us, if you have $100,000 and okay, let's say you buy one house, or you can't even buy one house with 100,000. So let's say
Right.
you buy one house with $300,000 cash that you have. I mean, why would I buy one house? I prefer to buy, let's say, 12 houses and do the hard money loan on all of them, and I'm doing multiple flips at the same time.
Yeah.
Because the other way, you'll save, let's say $15,000 on that one flip, but you won't do enough business to generate it. So yeah, we're doing hard money right now.
And with that hard money, are you financing the entire deal, or are you bringing a certain amount to the table?
For most of the houses, we get 100% finance. That only works when you work with certain lenders and they trust you. So all we pay is closing costs. Most of the time, they do require like 10%.
Yeah.
20% if you go on Google and find all these hard money lenders is 20%. They won't back down. We've tried, but eventually you meet these guys that do 10% down, which is amazing. Once you actually do enough flips and they know you know your numbers and you're profitable and you keep giving them business, they'll even do 5% down, 100% finance. Of course, interest is through the roof, but we're out of the property in 3 months. Like, we don't care about the interest. If we can get 10 houses for free, all we do is pay the harmony monthlies and the closing costs.
Hmm. What do you think about the new regulations that are coming out with Oklahoma, Illinois? You start seeing these things here and there. Can you hear me?
And Chicago as well. I think
Chicago. Oh yeah.
So I mean, it needs to happen. I mean, everyone knew that you can't have a good thing going for so long, right? It's like
Yeah.
the gold rush. Like, everything gets regulated after a while. They're seeing so many people, online. Hey, I just made $1 million. A YouTuber say, hey, I made this $100,000 check. Everyone's watching. They're turning around and seeing, hey, how did this guy get so much money? So I tell a lot of people, get it while it's hot. You're not in this. I mean, try to be as fast as you can, double down on everything you do. I mean, it could also be a recipe for disaster, but if you have the knowledge, you hang around the right people. I mean, you give the best odds. You give yourself the best odds to succeed.
If someone's looking for where to start wholesaling and maybe trying to replicate what you do, what would you recommend? Is it pulling a list, driving for dollars? Where do you start?
Social media. I mean, back in the day, people needed to be at a mall with their little kiosk there and seeing all the people walk by. Hey, just giving out cards. If you think about it, the new mall is everything's virtual. You have news feed. You can pay instead of being at the mall to pay for that little kiosk that they charge about $2,000 a month. You can pay $2,000 on Facebook or Instagram, or $1,000, $500, and they'll put your post in front of so many people that you can target. That's the new way of marketing. If you're not on social media, you're not creating content, then you're not really using it, because it's a free tool. It's free, and you get so many people that will connect with what you do. And if you put out the right message, someone's gonna say, "Hey, I have this house. I saw your video," or something. But that should be a main thing for a lot of people.
Yeah, I totally get that. Yeah, the more people I talk to, and the more you start hearing stories of just people that have made it happen. It seems like there's no real reason that anybody that's just willing to put in the sweat equity and work hard can't do it. What do you think is the main barrier to achieving the goal, or getting to whatever they call success, whether it's in real estate or fill in the blank? What stops people from going out and just taking action like you did?
Well, a lot of people take action. I mean, I've noticed they take too much action, which is not a bad thing, but on the wrong things. I have some close friends also that wholesaling, right? They're diehard wholesalers. They wholesale diehard. They're going at it. But the second I tell them, look, you can keep dialing yourself, or you can hire a VA that does it for you. Like, no, I want to do the calls, blah, blah, I'll save some money. What happens? Their morale goes down every time somebody tells you, "Hey, all these customers, hey, you suck," and they've been beaten, these calls. So psychologically, they don't know how to look past all that. And you have to be able to shift, and pivot. The market changes. It changes every 6 months. And what I mean by that is like the prices changed, the type of buyer changes, so you have to be able to pivot. Like for me right now, it's not a fix and flipper game. How I said, it's an end buyer game. Where are we making the base assignments? Is from an end buyer, someone's gonna live there. Eventually, when it shifts, everything's a little bit cheaper. People are doing price cuts on their listings. We will, okay, now we can negotiate with these sellers that used to think they could sell this very high, but I'll know that that's not the case anymore. You know, you might be a seller that, you know, hey, my house is worth a lot of money. Yeah, right now, I might get over asking. Yes, you would right now. How about the market changed, and then now you have so many buyers where, hey, you're as a seller, hey, my house is worth a lot. Yeah, but you're not getting any offers. Oh yeah, you're right. Oh yeah, but they want closing costs. You're gonna budge. If you really want to sell and move to a different area, you're gonna budge and say, hey man, your house is not selling. The realtor's gonna tell you that. So what happens? You know, now we can negotiate further down, and now it's fix and flip season. Why is it fix and flip season? Because now all the sellers, there's not enough buyers, so the listings are just there forever sitting. So it's all seasons. You have to be able to call out what season is it right now. Like the season of sub twos, right? Like when right now, like whoever does a sub two, it's a very unique situation. The person's really going through something where they don't understand what's going on. But there was a season for sub twos. That's when people are mainly, hey, I'm losing my house. I don't want the payment. Oh geez, oh geez. But the interest right now are very, very low. Once people are getting the houses with higher interest, then they'll say, I can't really afford this. Okay, now is the season for sub twos. You'll see me doing a lot of sub twos. See, I'll be partying every day. Hey, sub twos, sub twos, sub twos. But it works. Sub twos do work. But there's also the season for all you can eat sub twos. I tell a lot of people, look, sub twos gonna help. Like pre-foreclosures helps. Like all the other things help. You just have to know what's the season right now. And right now is the season of the end buyer. They'll pay full retail. And why would I sell it to a fix and flipper if an end buyer is going to pay full retail?
Yeah, that's good. Maybe that's what I'll do with this one we have right now in Prescott.
And always market to the realtor community, through Facebook groups. Hey, are you looking for a property here? Blah blah blah, and then you'll be able to find your end buyer that, hey, do you have 20% down? Blah blah, and you can explain, hey, you can actually buy this the Harmony, or you know, you'll be able to find somebody.
Yeah, that's a good idea. Cool. So what's the best part about kind of what you've transitioned into from your old job of working a 9 to 5? Do you think it's the freedom, or do you think it's actually the new work that you're doing and you just enjoy it more?
Well, I mean, in reality, I don't think the freedom, I mean, you do have freedom, but now I'm doing something and I am putting more hours to this, but now I enjoy it because it's yours. The other way, you're doing it for somebody else, and any day they could just fire you or you just quit, and you're just waiting for retirement. It's like you're just waiting to retire. Like, oh, I got like 20 more years, I'll retire. 25, 30 years, I'll retire. And it was always on my mind. I would see these, older guys. Oh, I'm gonna retire in 5 years, and they're all happy. I'm almost out of here, guys. And he's like so happy and waiting for that moment. But I don't think that moment is gonna feel that great when they get there. Like some guy retired, he died 2 years later. It's like the problem is that you wait for a moment. It's like you're done. Okay, you're done, huh? But if you do like this entrepreneurial thing, like you might say I retired, but you're like semi-retired because you're never done. It makes the job enjoyable. You're not waiting to burn out 20 years of your life. A lot of people forget about life. It's limited. Why would I want to burn through my next 20 years to retire? Is that what I'm looking forward to? So a lot of people, that's what they're looking forward to. I'll retire one day, go start traveling the world. Look, man, if at 30 something that I'm right now, my knees are hurting. I played a lot of sports. I'm like, I don't think I want to be clubbing at 65, in Paris, like walking through all these places in Madrid or South America. It's like your body's gonna give out. You gotta think. I read this book on I forgot the name, but it's Chess and Life. So all I do is, okay, cool. Let me make all the moves that will bring me up to 10 years from now, 30 years from now, retirement age. Okay, what's my body doing? Oh, I'm probably gonna be very tired. What does my lifestyle say? All this, what's gonna happen? Am I gonna be going through other emotional things? Is my family gonna be around? Is my grandpa gonna be with grandma? Things that are gonna affect me. And then I already went to the future and came back, just by thinking about it. And then I can make some decisions whether I want to stay my 9 to 5 or actually try and, get the good fight in there. Good fight of trying to make it, because at 65, I'm not gonna be trying to make it anymore. I'm just trying to survive. A lot of people think, oh, that's when I'll start. It's like you don't really have that much energy, to be honest. It's like you either do it now or just hang in there, man.
Yeah, I think that's a point that's overlooked a lot. People, it's, maybe they hear that and it sounds good, but they don't actually seriously consider what that could do or what that would mean if they chose to do that. Can you maybe speak a little bit about like the not so glorious part of making that decision? Because it seems like a lot of times, like in your case, you have the job that's paying well, you know how it works, you're kind of set up for this amount of time and it's really secure. But in order to kind of transition to where you're at now, you got to take a couple steps back, shock your system a little bit, maybe eat dirt for a little bit. And then it's like, okay, now you're Dispo Sharks and you guys are doing all this cool stuff. What does it take to kind of get your mindset in a spot where you can go a couple steps back, I guess, in order, like in your situation?
Well, the thing that helped me, it was that one trip to China, right? So I've read a lot of books and heard a lot of audios from different people that have done big things. They say go to all these places where you would actually want to belong to, even though you paid that one time to go in there, because you might be able to pay, hey, can I drive this Lamborghini? Test drive that, and then you're sitting there, in a Lamborghini, and you're like, oh shit, I wish I had this. And so what happens in your mind, like you were in there. And now, can you really go back to your normal car? You can, but now you're like, oh, this car is a piece of shit. It's horrible that you do that to yourself, but I only suggest you do that to yourself if you really want it. So what happens is that you put yourself in all these weird situations where I mean, I don't know why humanness, when you attack it with something, it might seem negative at the time or positive at the time, but like Ramon, he wanted to fly private. We always flew like Southwest and all that. So we went on this private jet. I was like, oh man, I didn't want to go because I'm like, what's gonna happen after I fly in this private jet? I'm gonna think the airlines are a piece of shit. And I always used to think airlines are awesome, the plane. So we flew in this private jet, leather white seats, the lady with the giving you the champagne, and it's in my mind now. And then what happened after that? We bought the membership. So now we fly in. You have to buy a membership. It's not to fly for free. It's just to belong. It's crazy. And then you get to pay for the flight. But you go in there to the wrong way. You take off immediately. You get off immediately. You don't waste any time. But the first time we did it was like, oh shit, this shit's expensive. But what happened is that we needed to make more deals. We needed to pivot our mindset so that we can bring in that extra money where that's normal. And then we made it normal after a while because in our minds it's like we need more. We made it something where it's normal. Have you ever wondered why people live, let's say, like friends that live, let's say, like in a trailer park, right? They live in a trailer park, and then you say, hey, why don't they get a house? You're like, it's not that expensive. They could get a house. They just get this kind of job. But it's the same thing that stops us, from getting a bigger house too. It's like, hey, why don't they buy a car and they're just driving? They're in their bike, right? They're always with their bike. Always that they can't afford because it's too much. They don't make enough. And the thing is the same reason why it stops us from saying, hey, why don't I drive a Lambo? Hey, why don't I live in a mansion? It's the same thing that blocks us. We think, well, we're okay. But if you think about the millionaire friend that you have, that he's the one in the mansion in the mountains, and he's been doing this crazy stuff, he probably thinks the same thing. Hey, why doesn't he just get a mansion? Like, hey, it's not that tough. It's not easy. Well, it's all the mindset. You got to be able to see it to believe it for a lot of people, and just start brainwashing yourself. Even if you rent it for one day, rent that Lambo, you drive it, that'll go a long way and keep the fire going.
Yeah. So what does this mean for some, like, is the moral of the message to just always kind of find the next thing to work for? Or do you think that there has to be some deeper meaning for like why they're doing it? Or where do you think that connects?
Well, I mean, at the end, a lot of people go minimalist. I was a big minimalist. I read the Goodbye Things. You know, the book is amazing. But I was the guy that I don't believe things make me happy. Like buying things is not. I don't really care for them. But I used to say all that stuff, which I do believe in some sense. But I've learned that life is also it's materialistic in some case, right? We're living. We need air. We need AC. We need the laptops. We need nice things. So the minute that you start, hardcore saying I don't need anything, you're not gonna get anything. You attract what you want. So the minute I started shifting my mindset, which was very hard for me to do, I was minimalist hardcore. I didn't want to watch. So this is like the only first real watch that I've bought. To be honest, is a Movado. I got the Walmart watch. I love those. I'm like, I don't want to spend more than $20 on a watch. So this was a hard thing for me to do. It was like a milestone, to be honest. But what started to happen is I said, hey, this is what I want to get money wise. So with that money, I was able to help like my parents, my nephews, my grandma in Mexico. You get to help the people that you like. You start seeing a lot of situations where you can do some good for people. I've bought 10, 20 wheelchairs in the past 2 years where I see people struggling and then I give them as gifts. So you find your own reason, just find your own reason, whether it's good or bad. I mean, it'll work out, but you have to have that fire. Every time you don't want to wake up, you remember that reason and then it's gonna, wake you up. So whether it's good or bad, I'm saying, because you can have some fucked up reason where it makes you angry and frustrated. Like every superhero in every movie, something horrible happened to them. Spider-Man, right? The
Yeah.
Uncle Ben. Something happened to these superheroes. So I think everyone itself is a superhero. They just have to see that one thing, that chip on their shoulder, that one thing that they can't let go. That girl that left you, or that situation where you couldn't pay the rent, they kicked you guys out, or you just saying, hey, why don't I have that? It could be. I mean, it's not bad, but it's fuel. I mean, don't take it as in you become bitter and I hate the world. But it's fuel for you to just keep doing an extra hour, an extra rep at the gym, an extra everything. You drink more water, you take care of your body, but every time you feel like throwing the towel, remember that one thing that fuels you, and that's what it's all about, man.
I totally agree. And I think, like kind of the point you're saying of just having a reason and just going for it, because if you're pointing even a little bit up, it's better than pointing a little bit down. You're going towards the good thing rather than the bad thing. And anyone that, says they don't need anything, that's a very non-Lamborghini owner thing to say.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But anyways, I think that's a good way to wrap this up. That's a good message for someone to go, get a fire under their belly and go make some things happen. So Rodrigo, I really appreciate you coming on the show. I think I learned a lot. Other people listening too. Is there any plug, website, stuff like that you want to?
I mean, at the end, we'll be at the event. If you want to stop by, man, there's gonna be a lot of cool people there. Lots of good lenders. Everyone we've met is gonna go there. I mean, it's a good meetup. I think it's 800 realtors and wholesalers in one room. Is gonna be pretty awesome, man.
How can people find out about that?
It's at wholesalesharkspresent.com. Tickets are free. All this stuff is free, man. We don't make any money off of it. It's crazy. I told my brother, man, we spent over the last event, we spent over $30,000 on the whole event. It's like the Sheraton, right? They charge you so much for the sound system, the AV, all this. And all people say, hey, why do you do this for free? It's like, well, I mean, we do it for free, but in reality, I mean, to get so many people in one room that does the business, it's like we could go and knock on every person's door, but you get everybody in one room. The value, it's so great for us just to see the size of everyone doing deals.
Yeah, man, I totally agree. I'm definitely going to be there. I'm finding out about this today. So that sounds like a great opportunity. I'll spread the word, and I really appreciate your time, man. Thanks for coming on the show.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you. Have a good one, man.
Peace. Get wealthy, everybody.
Yeah.